Muhammad, Prophet of Islam. Muslims revere Muhammad ibn Abdullah as the Prophet of Islam and the seal of prophets today. Muslims consider Muhammad to be the final prophet after a long line of prophets in Judaism and Christianity, including Adam, Moses, Abraham, Isaac, and Ishmael. According to Islamic belief, he was a common Meccan who began spreading a new faith throughout Arabia after receiving a heavenly revelation from God. After his passing, these revelations would eventually be collected into the Qur'an, a book. Although he was met with fierce opposition from the Meccans, he was able to win over a small number of followers. When he took control of the city of Yathrib and began expanding his dominion and his faith via war and politics, what had initially been a small group of followers quickly grew into an empire. Muhammad had succeeded in unifying the majority of Arabs behind the Islam flag by the time of his death. His successors, the caliphs of the Islamic world, the Rashidun caliphs, the Umayyad dynasty, the Abbasid dynasty, and subsequently the Ottomans, would inherit this dominion. Beyond the borders of Arabia, his dominion would grow. The faith would spread by conquest at first, then through commerce and missionary labor, and his original revelation would develop into one of the three major monotheistic religions practiced today. Early life. Muhammad was born around 570 CE at Mecca, an Arabian city in the Hejaz region. His clan, the Hashim, belonged to the revered Quraysh tribe. At the time, it was led by his grandfather, Abd al-Muttalib. The Hashim clan supplied water to Mecca pilgrims. Mecca was a religious location centered on the Kaaba that was home to a variety of idols. Muhammad's mother Amina also went away in 576 CE when he was only 6 years old. His father, Abdullah, had passed away while his mother was still pregnant. The boy was thereafter raised by his grandfather, Abd al-Muttalib, who passed away himself 2 years later. Then Abu Talib, Muhammad's uncle, dedicated his life to raising his nephew, and it is believed that they both loved one another exactly like a father and a son would. He developed into a reliable caravan dealer as he got older. He was known among the Arabs as As-Sadiq, which means the truthful, and Al-Amin, which means the trustworthy, and it is reported that many gave their possessions to him for safekeeping even after he started preaching a religion that they did not adhere to. Marriage with Khadija. When he was 25 years old, Khadija, a prosperous widow c. 555,620 c. sent him on a business trip with one of her commerce caravans. She sent him a marriage proposal after being moved by his honesty, which he accepted. It was agreed upon that Muhammad would not have another wife while he was married to his first wife, despite the fact that this was rather usual in Arabia at the time. His first wife was a woman who was 15 years older than him but whose support and company would aid him in his mission. The Prophet had 2 boys and 4 daughters from his marriage to Khadija, while Shia Muslims only include Fatima as one of the daughters. Both of the Prophet's sons were stillborn. Muhammad did have further wives later in his life, and he also had a second son, who unfortunately passed away infancy. Declaration of prophethood. He started performing prayer in a cave called Hira in the mountain Jabal al-Nur, close to Mecca, as he approached his late 40s. The first revelation from God, Allah, is said to have come to him one fateful day in 610 CE in the form of a light that purported to be the angel Gabriel. Muhammad reportedly felt confused and afraid at first and fled back to his house while trembling in terror. He didn't fully understand the duty that had been placed upon him until his wife consoled him and took him to see her cousin Warqa, a Christian scholar who recognized and informed him that he was a prophet. Friction with the Meccans. The first conversion to Muhammad's message of the unity of God was his wife Khadija, and the first believer among men was his close companion Abu Bakr el. 573-634 c. After some time, he started preaching openly, but the Meccans opposed him. At the Kaaba, Mecca was home to numerous idols, and the majority of the city's economy depended on the pilgrims who came from all over the Arabian Peninsula to worship these idols, which Muhammad regarded as false deities. The Meccans tried everything to stop him, including physical torture and bribery. However, he refused to submit. Despite Muhammad's increasing power, competing Qurayshite clans boycotted the Hashim clan in an effort to persuade them to stop supporting him. This boycott made life for Muhammad and his followers, known to Muslims as the Sahaba, quite difficult, but it was eventually lifted. In 619 CE, Muhammad decided to travel to Taif after experiencing constant rejection in Mecca. A chaotic mob of street kids flung rocks at him as he tried to flee the city after first being welcomed there, but the people rejected his message. He barely made it out of the city alive. The angel Gabriel then asked Muhammad for permission to demolish the town, according to a well-known Muslim tradition. But Muhammad refused, stating that he was confident they would convert in the future. His hope was dashed by the passing of his uncle Abu Talib and his wife Khadija in 619 C, which Muslims refer to as the Year of Sorrow. Another of Muhammad's uncles, Abu Lahab, who detested him, stepped into Abu Talib's role, leaving Muhammad entirely defenseless and without the help of his clan. Death of the Prophet. Muhammad also sent forces to capture other significant areas of Arabia. At the Battle of Hunain, another confederacy was destroyed. In the year 631 C, the city of Taif, from which he had been driven from his home, submitted to his dominion. The Muslim defeat in the Battle of Mu'tah ended an attempt to consolidate power over Arab tribes under Byzantine rule, but it offered Muhammad's successors an idea for their future efforts against the Byzantines. Muhammad was the most powerful political figure in all of Arabia at the time of his death in 632 C. The majority of the tribes had converted to Islam, albeit these conversions were typically motivated more by political than by spiritual reasons. After Muhammad's passing, this fact would become very important since these tribes would break away from the Islamic kingdom and need to be brought back under control. Following a brief illness, Muhammad passed away quietly in his home, surrounded by his youngest wife, Aisha.